Hey, what's up guys? So I'm back to review Scream Season 2, Episode 5, entitled Dawn of the Dead. And so where this episode, it picks up right where the last episode ended, in which Jake's body falls from the rafters, basically spilling blood all over Brooke, and thus exposing to the entire school that there's probably a new killer in town. Right off the press of this event, the sheriff puts the entire school in lockdown immediately. And I must say, all of this is handled fantastically well, considering that it's sort of like a bottleneck episode in which it all takes place within the school. So we have like the library, which is housing most of the students and some of the Lakewood 5 and some of the suspicious characters. And we also have where the sheriff is interviewing some of the suspects. And we also have a few characters that get kind of caught out in the hallway. And so the dynamic is handled very well as far as it bouncing back and forth. And they're able to keep the pace going throughout the entire episode. And it gets really, really tense as a lot of characters are doing things, you know, in the background. They're giving very shady looks. There's certain things that are going on. It's a lot to digest in this episode. And that's what made it, I think, probably one of the better episodes I think I've seen of Scream. So Emma hears a buzzing noise of a phone, and she thinks it's her phone, but she goes to check. It's not that phone, so she still keeps checking, and what she finds is that she has Jake's phone in her book bag, which kind of points more evidence towards her. I think the killer, if it was the killer, is doing this to kind of make it seem like Emma is going crazy. Also, surprisingly, coming back in this episode, we have Haley Myers. Not sure if the Myers name is kind of a nod to Michael Myers. Just an interesting little side note. But we have Haley Myers kind of coming to the forefront of this episode, being that we haven't seen her since, I believe, kind of the first episode, where she was the one pulling the prank on Audrey. So it's rather kind of strange that they're bringing her a little bit more into this episode. And I have to say, I kind of like Haley Myers as far as the character, and also the young actress. I think she's attractive. But that's neither besides the point.
Yeah, did you? I know you were checking her out as well. Don't act like it was just me.
But anyway, so yeah, Haley Myers is speaking rather truthful stuff about the Lakewood 5, as she kind of, you know, was saying these offhand comments that we're hearing about, oh, the Lakewood is, you know, privileged, or why do they get to, you know, get special treatment? And it is kind of true, because they do get kind of special treatment in this town. I mean, I'm not sure why, is just because they're celebrities or because they went through a tragedy, but she kind of speaks the truth. But I'm really suspicious about her. Not only her character, maybe it's just me, but I kind of think she bears a resemblance to maybe Piper. And I don't mean a identical appearance, but more so maybe like she's related to Piper. And a rather funny scene that I was just laughing at, instead of actually being like, oh my god, I can't believe she did that. So we have a scene in which Emma kind of loses her cool as she sees Haley and a bunch of other people kind of staring at her. And once again, they're kind of pushing this you know, side story about Emma kind of having panic attacks and PSD, and she's maybe seeing things that aren't there. Every time they're kind of showing her, they're kind of pushing this a little bit more so for us to notice. And so she kind of flips the lid and goes over there and gets into Haley's face. And basically Haley, lays on her a comment about like everybody that, surrounds themselves with you dies. And she's speaking the truth. I mean, you can't hate her for that. But when Emma does this slap or a punch on Haley, I have to say I rewinded a couple times just to watch that scene, because to me it was just so fake. I mean, there was just no sound effect on it, because I was like, wow, that's probably one of the fakest, worst punches that I've ever seen in cinema. It is rather strange that the teacher locks Emma into the room and she has this kind of smile going on. I think that's maybe something that they're trying to throw us off the pathway and maybe think that she's the killer just because she gives that little smile, and then Emma kind of sees the killer standing outside the window. I don't really believe that to be true. I think she sees Emma as sort of a test subject of hers, and she thinks she can diagnose her and maybe fix her. And as I predicted, Audrey is, losing her grip, as, trying to be, the detective basically, and also trying to remain not a suspect. So like I predicted, Audrey's just slipping away, and she's having this conversation with Noah in which she's kind of slipping up and she's saying things that, is on her brain, but not things that she should be saying in front of people. Like saying phone calls instead of text messages, and saying, Jake's body instead of multiple bodies. And this is all leading up to something rather big in the finale of this episode. And Noah is kind of, getting this vibe that something's a bit off about Audrey. And we'll see where that goes a little later. So Audrey goes off on a tangent yet again about Gusto? I'm gonna say Gusto. But so Audrey loses it, and she thinks Gusto is the prime suspect because of the drawings, because he's suspicious. So she basically outs him in front of the entire, library full of students about his drawings, about his behavior, thus kind of insulting a riot. And so the teenagers all kind of surround Gusto and attack him, basically beating him up and basically leaving him very bloody. And so later in the scene we see that Audrey is kind of showing some compassion there, and that she feels bad about this. This leads me to believe that Audrey is not a killer. I mean, she may have helped Piper, and she may have kind of been her accomplice in certain ways, but I don't think she's a killer unless, maybe someone confronts her and tries to take her life. Then she might turn into a killer. And so right as that scene goes on, we see Noah takes Audrey's phone, and you should probably guess where this is going. Lockdown is done and everybody's kind of going their separate ways, and we get that Noah is sitting in his vehicle unlocking Audrey's phone, and then he sees the text messages, and he sees a video loop of, it saying like, don't worry partner, I've got your back, or something like that, and we see Audrey standing over Jake's body. So now we know that Noah knows, basically. To what degree does Noah know? We're not going to be sure until the next episode. We know he saw the picture, and we know we saw some of the text, but we're not sure if he thinks that Audrey is the killer. Also in this episode, we learn that Karen was being dumb, and for some odd reason he had a gun in his backpack, and while the school was on lockdown, all the officers were searching everybody's locker, he sneaks out and gets caught basically, and they find the gun in his book bag. And so now this leaves a interesting dynamic. Because of the gun, he makes a deal with the sheriff to basically be his eyes and ears for however long. So now we can't really trust Karen about certain things that might come up, because who's to say he's not going to run and tell the sheriff because of their deal. We also learned that his cousin Eli is still hitting on Emma. There's nothing that's changed about that. And possibly maybe he's the one that put the phone in the book bag, because later on he kind of gives Emma this speech about, oh, I'll take the phone and hide it, you know, I'll take the rep, you know, I'll help you. And maybe that was his plan all along, that he found the phone and he put it in there later on to just kind of be this, you know, shining knight and hero to help her hide the phone, so that way he can maybe get closer to Emma. So something's quite not right about him. What do you think? You might be asking, wait a minute, you didn't kind of mention one other character? I think her name is Zoe? Yeah, I didn't mention her because I don't really care enough about her character. After the whole threesome thing and the way she treated Noah, I don't see why Noah is, you know, consistently trying to go back and trying to strike up a conversation with her. Also, to note how brilliant in this episode is that we don't even see the killer until almost 30-40 minutes in, and we hear him on the phone. But other than those two little brief appearances that they, you know, he or she has in the episode, the whole episode is about, you know, feeling suspicious, feeling, you know, a fear, feeling paranoia. So all of these are factors in the one episode besides the killer, which is rather cool, I think, is that it shows the need that they don't even have to have the killer be there to have it be tense and to have us kind of having that paranoia and distrust and pointing fingers about, like, oh, you're suspicious or you're suspicious. So that was just something really cool that I noticed about this episode so far. So my predictions for next week, we're going to see Brooke and Gusto's relationship kind of develop even more, especially with Jake now kind of out of the picture. He's going to try to help Brooke, you know, maybe solve this, you know, murder mystery of who killed Jake. I'm believing that's what's going to happen there. And we also have that Noah is, you know, going to go full steam ahead on Audrey being the prime suspect. Now, I think he's going to kind of have to play the role of still being her friend, but also kind of being detective and, you know, maybe trying to gather more clues about her and about, you know, what he has seen. I think there's going to be a lot of truth and a lot of lying and a lot about who can be trusted in the next episode. I believe that Emma doesn't trust, you know, Noah. Noah doesn't trust Audrey, you know, and I don't think Emma trusts her boyfriend Karen. It's a lot of, you know, distrust in the next episode is what I think is going to happen. But anyway, that is my thoughts on Scream as far as the predictions for next episode, which is episode 6, entitled Jeepers Creepers. Take from that what you will. So I also do believe that someone is going to be killed or at least face the attacker in the next episode. Anyway, you guys, that is it for my thoughts, my review on this episode 5, entitled Dawn of the Dead. What are your thoughts about the episode? Leave them down in the comment section. I'd love to know what you think about this series so far. And what are your predictions about the next episode? And also, who are you finding suspicious? But as always, make sure to hit a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't already for more reviews, more content on the way. I have some more vlogs coming, some more interesting stuff on the way. So thank you for watching. And until next time, peace.